if you think about it, every international student who's applying has probably less than a 0.1% chance of acceptance.
Something can be the best for you, but not necessarily be recognised as the best.
For someone, a single smile can change a day. A single hi, hello, how are you?
Hello and welcome back to the third episode of the Pre-Uni podcast. As always, I'm your host Jamal. Now today, my guest is the ultimate LinkedIn warrior. From recently finishing his work experience at HSBC, to being on several youth panels, to volunteering at several humanitarian projects, including Light Upon Light, and landing a $400,000 scholarship to an Ivy League school. Welcome, Mohammed Taha Tariq.
It's an honour to be here, Jamal. Thank you for having me.
No worries, man. Anytime. So, before Taha became a full-on Brampton Manor bandit, he was first at Robert Clark. So, what was your experience like at Robert Clark, Taha?
I mean, it was quite haphazard. Robert Clark began with me joining year 7, like halfway through, because I was in Pakistan for like 3 years. It was some random side quest. I was in school in year 5. I get like called out, hey, you need to go home, you have an appointment. I'm like, what appointment? Turns out I packed my bags, I'm in Pakistan. 2.5 years later, I'm back. So yeah, Robert Clark was.
You were told it was just a 2-week holiday, right?
Yeah, it was just told as like a short-term thing, but yeah, it was like 2.5 years, almost 3 years. And I didn't have any formal education in Pakistan, so it was like primary school to secondary school, the jump was pretty huge without zero transition. I mean, all my friends just disappeared. It was peak, but you know what? The earlier years of Robert Clark, they were awful. Hated it, despised it. It was an oversubscribed school. It's known as one of the biggest in the UK. But later on, it got better. I feel like as I, tried a bit more, in year 11 especially, it got better. I graduated top of my cohort of 400 people. But I did start off on the bottom sets. Like, there's bottom sets, then there's bottom. Like, we had X band, Y band, Z band. I was in the bottom of Z band, and X band is the highest. Like, year 9, I reached Y band. Year 10, I reached the bottom of X band. But, yeah, I made it somehow. But, yeah.
Alhamdulillah, that's great to hear. No, I feel like a lot of people, when they get put in sets, especially in secondary school, they feel like that's it. Like a feudal hierarchy. Like, once you're born a son of a farmer, you're cooked.
100%.
But what made you want to aspire towards being at the top cohort?
I can't lie. It was still just spontaneous. Like, I know GCSEs are hard right now, but we were a COVID year. It was so unserious. Lockdown was like, all of year 9, half of year 10. So I didn't take education seriously. I still didn't in year 11. I mean, I was still cramming my subject the morning before an exam. But I feel like with GCSEs that is possible. But it's also the fact that, I guess, even teachers didn't believe in me. I think for English, I was the only one who went down a grade in predictors from year 10 to 11. I went from like a 5 to a 3 prediction, which is kind of peak. But I ended up being the only one who got 9.9 in English. But yeah, alhamdulillah. But in terms of aspirations, I feel like I just had a somewhat drive, but I feel like, again, it was just all very spontaneous. Like, everything was in the right place, right time. Like, Brampton as well, I heard it from a friend who was applying, and I was like, you know what, that sounds so sneaky, I'm going to apply as a joke. And I got in, and a few other friends didn't. Unfortunately, I wish I did, but it was just a lot happening. But yeah, I just feel like it's a lot of jigsaw pieces just fitting in right place, right time. It was less like motivational.
Fair enough. But I still feel like you should give credit to yourself for being open towards that new change, right? Like, Brampton's in Newham, and for those of you who don't know, Robert Clark's in Dagenham, like the depths of Dagenham. So, what was it like travelling that far for sixth form on a daily basis?
It was a jump, that's for sure. I mean, I could wake up at 8:20 for Robert Clark and still make it on school at 10. Brampton started at 8:10. I had to wake up at 6:45, leave my house at 7, or like wake up at 6:30. But it was a change, but it was a change I was willing to accept because, again, it had that, I guess, status attached to it. And a lot of people sacrificed a lot more for that status. For me, it was less about the status, just more about, oh, you know what, I've been given this opportunity, I made it here from Robert Clark, from 2.5 years of no education, so I might as well make the most of it. So I didn't see it as something negative. I mean, a lot of people I've talked to have used their transport time productively, revision or whatnot. I just deep life for a bit, have some self-reflection time. In the mornings, on the way back from home. I feel like it's needed, just like a bit of me time, and that it's worked. It's perfect.
For real, man. So, what were your expectations then going to Brampton? Like, as you said, it has a high status. Like,
100%.
It's called the East End Eton, you know?
I know it's a bit much, but expectations, being worked to the bone, everyone. My biggest, I guess, stereotype was that everyone I was gonna meet was gonna be some, stereotypical neek or just like education. But it wasn't like that, and I'm so glad I did end up going, because I met a lot of long-term friends. I met a lot of people who I resonated with, and yes, they're all academic weapons, but they've also got great personalities, great hobbies. We still play games, we all go out. I guess my expectations were just being trapped in some school that was an Oxford machine, because I guess I did have some Oxbridge aspirations, but I don't know why, I just chose to go there. I was like, you know what, it feels right, so I went there. It wasn't more so like, oh, I'm determined to go to Oxbridge, or I'm determined to succeed. I guess for me, it's less about motivational, and it's just like, if I see an opportunity, I take it. And I guess that's one of the biggest reasons as to why I'm here today, which I'm not.
I feel like as well, that something that allured you then towards Brampton was that, like, you felt like it was a school that could support your ambitions.
Yeah.
So when people, especially the year 12s, looking forward to like the GCSE exams year, how did you then narrow it down when applying to sixth forms? And what made you feel like Brampton Manor could support you in your ambition?
To be honest, my dream sixth form in year 10 was Newvic. So, yeah, I mean, for me, don't do what I did. I just typed up best sixth forms in London, and Newvic actually came up as one of them. It's like
someone was telling me about that,
the best sixth form college in London. I was like, oh, it's got to be amazing. I went to the open day, I was like, oh crap, it's all indoors. It's so cool. And then, yeah, I heard more from other people, and I was like, oh, it's really that bad. Oh, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's getting shut down. They got really bad for Ofsted.
Worst sixth form in like the whole country.
For Ofsted they got like awful, and a lot of teachers were striking, kicked out. I'm not friends there, but yeah, I'm glad I didn't go there. But alhamdulillah. But Brampton, yeah, there wasn't much in the research courses. I just applied to Brampton, NCS, LAE. NCS violated me because I did 2 BTECs with GCSEs. They were like, if you don't have 8 GCSEs, don't even bother applying. And then on results day, I got an email for one of the earliest interview times. So, I don't know, they wanted me, but I don't want them. LAE, they rejected me outright because my predictions were too low. I think my APS predicted were like 7 something. And that's why I got it boosted up from my teachers, because I was predicted all 4s, 5s, maybe a few 7s, 8s for like subjects I actually liked. And in Brampton, it was just more, again, spontaneous thing. On results day, I came in with my results, and they were like, yeah, choose whatever, do whatever. And one of my interviewers for results day, Mr. Hughes, he was a great guy. He's a Rhodes Scholar, he's insane. He actually, again, was like a reaffirming thing at Brampton. He was like, at the interview process, he was just so nice on the day of results day, and he was so like happy to talk about his hobbies. Like, we started talking about gaming, like with a teacher on results day at Brampton. So I was like, you know what, I'm definitely going here. And yeah, it just worked out. But researching, I just feel like, if you want status, if you want more help, if you feel like your previous school didn't help you enough, because that's what I did feel like. Even though I wasn't all that driven, all that, I knew that Robert Clark, it was cooked. Well, for me, it was cooked, because I had really high aspirations. I knew that after all that I'd been through, I wanted to, go ahead and do great things. I still didn't know how, but I was like, I'll figure out eventually. I don't have fixed plans, but I'm open to change. And that's one thing that Brampton did to help me get through change and a lot of it.
Yeah, I think that's mad important as well. I think around, for me as well, I think it was in year 9 that I resolved that I just can't go to my secondary anymore for sixth form. It wasn't even the journey time, because waking up at 6 a.m, take a train from Barking to Southend, a bit mad.
Secondary is crazy.
But the vibes were there. But when I was thinking about my long-term vision, I wanted a sixth form, like you said, that supports that ambition.
Yeah.
So I feel like evaluating that, and oftentimes it means leaving your school, is very important.
100%.
So I think that's something that you should definitely consider. So what was the reality like then of going to Brampton, and how did they help support your ambition then?
I mean, the transition was hard, and for me, I feel like I didn't see the benefits immediately. I mean, it's very deep, but second day or sixth form, literally second day, a very close friend of mine passed away, which was, it was hard, it was tough. Like, first day I visited him in the hospital, second day I get a message, so it was really bad. But I guess first term, or first quarter of the year, I was just in my own shell, doing nothing. But as time went by, I did open up. I did start taking opportunities, and Brampton has this very convenient thing. I think a lot of schools can do this. I actually did a campaign with Teach First about this. Just simple careers education. What Brampton does, it has a university access team who literally collate opportunities and send them out as a weekly email. Or they have a Google Classroom where they just upload opportunities, which is so helpful because most of the stuff I've done, actually not most, but I say a good amount of the stuff I've done, I've found through there. And it's just about taking that one chance. Even if it's the most random thing, like Teach First was educational inequality, an internship with them, and that led to me giving a speech to 1,000 people in central London.
MashaAllah.
Like, it was just so random, or like being a voice for the 20th anniversary video. Like, again, it was just so random from a 1 week internship to a whole range of opportunities. So yeah, that's one thing that Brampton does good in terms of supporting you. And for Oxbridge, again, they have a lot, like, that's not my area of expertise, but yeah, I mean, they do a lot for personal statements, for connections with other like organizations. HSBC, again, that was a Brampton affiliated partnership that they had. And that's an internship I did literally last week.
MashaAllah. I feel like as well what you're saying here is the importance of opting into different stuff as well. Like,
100%.
even if you don't see something aligning with like your career goal, like let's say you want to do medicine or you want to do law, I feel like what you did by exposing yourself to a variety of experiences helps you to like access different stuff. Like you were saying, yeah, you never thought you'd be given, Captain Owen style speech to like thousands of people. But mashallah, that's the kind of stuff that just happens when you just put yourself out there, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people, especially me at the start of your tour, was kind of scared to like do that because you can fail, right? You can stutter while giving that speech.
Yeah.
But the more you do, yeah, just the better you become, isn't it? So you just throw yourself out there as much as possible.
100%.
So I feel like that's great to hear. So although you didn't have Oxbridge aspirations, I'd argue you had something far greater, far more legendary. So how did you get onto the Sutton Trust US Programme? Something with a less than 10% acceptance rate.
I mean, again, it's just some funny backstory. My brother, he went to Mayfield, and someone from his upper cohort, like a year above, she got into NYU Abu Dhabi, which is insane to me. And I was like, oh, a whole scholarship to another country. Like, I don't do that because honestly, I'm fed up of London. Like, country's finished. It's finished. But inshallah, it gets better soon. But
TFO keeps dropping our money.
honestly, it's just robberies. But I just wanted change, and big change. And Oxbridge wasn't it for me. Like, I tried Oxbridge, but went to summer schools, went to like inside days, whatever. But for me, I'm not a big fan of academia. Like, I'll put it out there. Even though I went to Brampton, I'm not a serious candidate. You can ask any of my friends. It's not looking good. My screen time a day before AS exams, A-level exams, 10 hours. Like, it was peak. But I wanted something different, and America really drew me forward. So I applied to Sutton Trust US Programme. Again, I knew about it from the get-go, but it's also, again, University Access Team. They posted it. They let us know when the application opened. And yeah, it was more so just about recording a 5-minute video, letting them know what you did. And by that time, I didn't do much at all. I mean, it's a lockdown year, but I think I really demonstrated my passion. I really tried to like stand out. And I ended up getting in, alhamdulillah. But yeah, I know a lot of people who don't, but they still do get into America. And I've been helping a lot of students personally who have reached out to me, literally researching universities, applying, advice on the essays. But if you think you can't do it, trust me, like, you can. You 100% can.
So you get into the Sutton Trust Programme, yeah? Like you said, most people that apply don't get in. Bro, I applied, yeah, they didn't want me, bro. But what was it actually like being on the programme?
Honestly, by far, the best programme I've been on. Like,
Damn, bro, shout out Sutton Trust.
I mean, even they have 5,000 allocated for each student. Can you just like leave that? They take you to
£5,000.
Yeah, they literally take you to America for a week, fully funded. Like, I went to 4 states in a week: New York, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. Like, it was insane. But it's not just that. It's not just the America trip, because I know a lot of people apply just for that and they drop out. The people, like, I'm telling you, Sutton Trust friends are now my lifelong friends. I know that for a fact. Like, I have friends from there going to Princeton, others going to like sick universities in London, like Imperial, Oxford, etc. Like the people you meet there, especially because it's gonna be one of your first programs, so you have like a week-long residential a month before like your final mocks in year 12. I had it in knots. But it was just so jokes, it was so fun, and just meeting so many people who had similar aspirations but all just like experimenting, because America is not something universal, like it doesn't fit everyone's boat. But just having the bravery to even try it out or learn more about it, that's something that united all of us. And I think there was something, it was just great, that socialization between that, but yeah.
Yeah, speaking to other people in your program who've done the Sutton Trust program,
Yeah.
shout out Aya and Xavier. I can see that you man really have like a really close affinity to one another, which is really beautiful to see. And also, one thing I've liked about the Sutton Trust program is that they don't try and force the status thing. Like everyone's always saying, like Harvard, Yale, MIT, Princeton, but it's about finding the right uni for you, right?
They talk about fit, and I can't lie, all of us laughed about that in the first like year of the program. It was like, what the hell is fit? I don't know, Harvard, Yale. They call it, what was it? It's being blinded by status. But it's more about that. It's more about your fit, and you've got to understand, American colleges, even the ones that aren't good, they still have a certain pool of money that they can allocate to students. Like if you want 350k or 400k, like whoever gives you that, why would you turn that down? But it's also the fact that they're all pretty elite, especially the ones that Sutton Trusters like nudge you to apply to. They don't tell you to apply anywhere. They give you guidelines, but yeah, I mean, if you think about it, every international student who's applying has probably less than a 0.1% chance of acceptance, regardless of the college. Because one, you're applying as an international, you've already got bad luck. Not bad luck, but the odds are against you. Two, you're asking for a huge amount of money, most likely, unless you're rich. Then, yeah. And yeah, just these two things make the acceptance rates like 1% or lower. So yeah, it's less about being bad about status, more about what is your fit. Because my fit was an Ivy League that most people haven't even heard of. Like, what is Dartmouth? I didn't know what was Dartmouth like a month before I applied. I found out about them at a university fair at Harvard, where the Dartmouth admissions officer just stood out, and everything about the college just fitted what I wanted. And that's different to what someone else wants. Like, I want a small college, not a research-driven college, not, I guess, a graduate-heavy college. I wanted somewhere peaceful, somewhere beautiful, and it's literally in between mountains and lakes and rivers. What more could I want? But that was my fit. But I know fit differs, and that's something you should take heavily in the application process.
Yeah, I feel like fit is so important. Not even just for university, but for like even sixth form as well. Like everyone's always trying to go, Brampton, NCS, LEE, Oxbridge. But the fact of the matter is, you need to make sure if you're built for this life or not, because the huge benefits also come with huge drawbacks, right? Like 6 to 6 isn't for everyone.
Okay, even 6 to 6 is a rumour.
Even if you don't do 6 to 6, the winter challenges, right?
Oh,
the massive deadlines.
I mean, everyone ChatGPT'd it. So I'm not saying I did, but allegedly, but
or the 400 people in a year group, like you need to consider all these factors when you're choosing
100%
something. Like something can be the best for you, but not necessarily be recognized as the best. Like for my sixth form, we were the first year group. We were guinea pigs, but I'm gonna say that outright. But for me, alhamdulillah, it paid off, even though I knew that A, was coming from a smaller sixth form when I was used to like being in a larger social environment, and C, it wasn't in my ends at all. Like it was in North London. So considering all these things for your fit is just as important as considering the quality, right? Like chemistry can sometimes be better than competence for certain things as well. So what made Dartmouth College your fit? Like you touched on it briefly, but what allured you to it as opposed to like Harvard, Princeton, all these big name brands?
I mean, Dartmouth has a lot of unique things. One of the biggest, I guess, unique standing point is the Dartmouth plan, D plan. Basically, Dartmouth has a quarter system, so there's 4 quarters rather than 2 semesters, and that just means you have way more flexibility. As in, for my sophomore year, so second year, I could choose to do 4 quarters, basically being in school the entire year with like 2 week breaks in between the quarter. And then for my third year, I could take half the year off, so just being in for 2 quarters.
Bro.
I mean, you have 12 quarters that you have to do, but how you spread that out is up to you. And it's also the fact that you can spend some quarters doing internships, some doing year abroads, and for me that's something I want. I want flexibility, but I also want the chance to explore. That's why the liberal arts in America is perfect for me. I don't know what I want to do, even now. Like, I say I want to do a double major, one in potentially international relations, but I'm still unsure, like, how that's going to look like in a year's time. Because if I look back to me a year ago from now, still no idea, but, like, I would not be doing a podcast with J5 here, like, that would not be happening, but look where I am now. So I think one thing for me is don't have fixed ideas, and also don't be against change, because for the first year of Brampton, or like half of the first year of Brampton, I hated it. I told everyone I regret coming here. I wish I could go back. But then by the end of like first year, I guess even when I got my acceptance, because fair enough, a lot of the opportunities I did was because I was at Brampton, this right place, right time. I just, I was happy with my decision. I was like, not happy with the place, because Brampton, a lot of people have their own like qualms with it. I have my own, others have their own. It's not perfect, but it's not horrendous. And for me, it worked out. I know for a lot of others, they still do regret it. So again, fit is big for anything in life.
Yeah, that's good as well. So what made you want to, apply early decision, which for those of you who don't know, is when you like almost fast track your application by submitting it early to an Ivy League school, even though you knew there was less than a 0.1% chance that you'll get in. So arguably, there was a 99.9% chance that you were going to fail, bro.
I can't lie, it's probably even lower for me, because I dropped an A-level and the Sutton Trust advised against it, because, I'd be less competitive. I saw some competitors of mine who didn't get in on like Reddit, 6 A-levels, like maxed out the ACT, the SAT. I didn't do the ACT. I had the choice to like do it again, because when I did it, it failed the test center, like it just didn't give a result. And they were like, here, have a free voucher, you can do it again later. I just didn't do it. I wanted to be test option, but like, I just could not be bothered. Again, I'm not serious when it comes to academia.
I don't mind, it wasn't like a 4-hour test though.
Yeah, 3.5 hours, and they're just like, oh, sorry, test error. And also, I was getting dead scores before it. I was getting like 28, 30, 29.
You needed like a 33 or
33, 34
right?
was like the median for Dartmouth, for most top schools. And I was not doing good enough. So I was going to test optional either way. So the odds were even more against me. But for me, it's more so just like, you know what? If I can do it, if I can apply, if I've got like people willing to help me, because I did actually have a good support network. Not only from Sutton Trust, which again, a lot of people think, oh, the Sutton Trust gives you essay guidance, etc. Like, without them, you're cooked. Like, no, I think the best guidance I've had in terms of my essay was an individual I knew, I won't name, but also another person who I met at a private equity internship, which I went with Jay Valley actually.
Oh yeah, shout out Impact.
Yeah, shout out Impact. And I met this amazing woman. She went to Stanford and she was a graduate. And she was so kind and was willing to help me. And she was one of my biggest resources when it came to the interview, but also my essays. So I had people willing to help me. I had people believing in me, so why not believe myself? And one thing about me is also, I read this recently, but it's about no amount of regret can change the past, and no amount of worry can change the future. So if you can live in the present and just take that leap, then do it, because you'll be surprised at what's waiting for you at the other end. Yeah, so I took that leap, and 400,000 was waiting for me, so yeah.
That's a tough quote, man. Yeah, I feel like what you touched upon there, yeah, is like the importance of like networking, right? So of course, when you get somewhere like Brampton, people are there from like different schools and whatnot. So you have to like, you're almost forced to talk to people that you didn't go to school with, right?
Yeah, you are.
And then even when you're at like a private equity firm, like most of the people there were like from like upper middle class backgrounds, from all these elite schools.
Yeah.
So I feel like having the courage to talk to people about your own ambitions, especially when you know they can support you, is so important. And yeah, I feel like it's good because that's when you make those long-term relationships, right? That's why, it's kind of cliche, but it's who you know at times, not what you know, isn't it? Because when you're reaching out to these people, talking to them, and they can kind of like relate to you, isn't it? And especially when they're like ahead of you, they're not gonna hate on you. They almost want to support you to like help you reach that journey as well, right? Because they don't see it as competition. For them, it's more like a tutelage or mentorship.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, first of all, it was brave of you to say that, you know what, I'm trying to go to an Ivy League school, to someone you literally just met. And you still, I'm hoping people can learn from this, that like, pull through and reach out to open people. Because it's not like you knew this person from anywhere, right?
Yeah.
We literally just met her.
Yeah.
So yeah, be bold, isn't it? Go talk to people, go chase up on people. And it's not called begging it, it's called thinking smart. Because at the end of the day, if you're too proud to be like, oh, can you help me? Can you read over my essay for me? Could you look at my personal statement for me? Could you criticize my CV? Then you're going to be where you are and they're going to be where they are.
Yeah.
So you're going to carry on, keep on looking up at them. So yeah, man, big props to you.
And also, if someone offers help, just take it, because I didn't ask her for help, but she was more so, oh, if you want to look at essays, if you want some help, you can take it. And I went up to her and I took it. So you're going to end up regretting it if you didn't, and somebody else did, and let's say they end up in a more successful route. So it's just about, in life, just look forwards and stop looking back, because I think that's something that I really struggle with, even still up to now. Just have your eyes in the future and let go of the past, because it's weighing you down. That's what it is.
Would you say then that like the death of your friend at the start of the year is something that definitely like hindered you throughout your year 12 experience?
I think that's something that more so inspired me, because he had a lot of ambitions, we had a lot of ambitions. I mean, we were going to start a business together literally that summer, but he was in the hospital for a while. But yeah, it just inspired me to do more, to do better, to not end up being a bum, because that friend group I was in, shout out to them, they're great people, they're my brothers, I love all of them. But a lot of our aspirations, especially at CLAG, it was just so watered down, because I feel like the school really puts a bubble onto you. Or like your environment just shackles you down to, oh, you can do this, but you can't do that. Even now, I've heard from them in sixth form, a lot of students were told they want to apply to some uni, but they were like, no, don't, you're not going to make it. And that's just like the entire life trajectory gone, because, oh, an institution said you can't. I know a lot of people to me have said, Ivy League, don't even bother. America, don't even bother. But it's about your own initiative. You're in control, this is your life. Don't let others dictate it. And that's one thing that it should just happen, because, yeah, in terms of the death, it inspired me. I mean, not the death itself, obviously.
I know, but like, I'm so glad you were.
I want to honour his memory. I guess that's what I wanted.
Something that was like so negative, you managed to like transform into like a positive experience. Like, you're honouring your friend, isn't it? Like, it's not just you stepping into Dartmouth by yourself, isn't it? You're almost carrying that memory of your act with you. And I feel like that's a beautiful thing as well. I also like how you touched upon like that crab bucket mentality. Like, I'm gonna be real, yeah. I've had this idea of this podcast since like summer year 12. In fact, I was telling you about this at like year 13 September a little bit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were messaging me.
So like, my point is that you shouldn't let your circumstances, whether that's your friends or your school, like weigh you down from like what you want to achieve. Of course, like inshallah, make dua and pray and everything, but like, you don't always have to like expose your ambitions to people if you feel like they're gonna go against you or they're not gonna support you, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I see a lot of people be like, oh, I'm not gonna apply Oxbridge because, you know, none of my friends are applying, no one from my school is applying, or I'm not gonna go to the sixth one because none of my friends are. Sometimes you have to like go your own separate paths.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, if they're really your friends, you're really on that same timing, that's me inspire change in them.
Yeah.
And second of all, it's okay to like outgrow friends or be on separate paths for certain things. I used to be someone that was like, if my friends aren't doing it, then maybe it's not the right thing. But like, that was very silly. And it can be like a crab crawling out of a bucket, as they say, and then other crabs just pull you back down to the bottom. So my point is that like, just make sure you're doing your thing, regardless of who's on it or not. Like Sydney, my first guest on this podcast, said something to me on like a private call once where he was like, he has this mentality that he's going regardless of whether people are backing it or not. That he'll tell people he's going to the court to train, and if they're on it, they're on it. But if there's not, he's still going regardless. So like, yeah, being your own person is very, very important.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what he said, I can't build on that. But also, don't let your failures define you. You are not, let's say you didn't get into Oxbridge, you're not an Oxford reject. You're just someone who didn't make it, and that's okay, you have better things, you know, like, to go for you. But, yeah, honestly, you just worded that beautifully. What a cool guy.
I appreciate that, bro. But how did you manage to, like, have a focus on more than just your academics and university aspirations? Because I realized for me, yeah, the most I wanted out of sixth form was making sure that I was going to a Garrett uni. And inshallah, we'll see on results whether I bust case or not.
Inshallah.
But with you, yeah, you managed to focus on like planning your career and a lot of volunteering work as well.
Yeah.
So why was the philanthropic side so important to you?
Less about the career. I guess for me, I want to achieve a balance, but I'm not good at balancing stuff. So I sacrificed the academics, but did stuff that I enjoyed. But
You got 4 A's at AS though, bearing in mind.
Alhamdulillah, but
Mashallah.
I got a D in a psychology mock a month before. So again, I don't know how that happens. It just Alhamdulillah. But yeah, I mean, philanthropic stuff. It's just something that I live by. Again, honoring my friend's memory. Like, I just want to do more to help. A lot of people have helped me in my life. I've been shaped by the people around me. I've gotten a lot of support. But again, at times, it's just been me. Like Pakistan, when I was there for like 3 years, I didn't have anyone. I just had myself. And a lot of times during secondary, it was just myself. And a lot of times at Brampton as well, it was just myself. Especially for the first like half the year. But what I could do was just, again, take the initiative. Do things that I know would bring positive change, that would inspire others, that would just make me feel good. Because bringing a smile to someone else should be a payment enough. I mean, it's just great. And especially in terms of charity work, in Islam, if you save a life, it's as if you saved all of humanity. So if I've raised hundreds of pounds for like Al Shifa Hospital in Gaza that I did last summer while I was trekking Mount Snowdon, then that money could have saved someone's life. And I don't know that if it has or hasn't, but it's not the intention that counts. And intention is so powerful. It's like the power of purpose. If you're driven by purpose, if you're driven by intention, then regardless of whether you succeed or not, you know that you've put it all or you put some effort in it, and you should still feel proud of that. Because I know a lot of people say, oh, give it your all, others you regret it. I know in a lot of times I haven't put in my all, but I still haven't regretted it. And I still have come out either with a favourable or not favourable outcome. But in life, we're still humans, so if you can't put your 100% every single day, then put it once a week at least. Put it once a month, but or disperse it. Do 25% across the week. But just live in the moment, live in the present. That's something that I haven't been doing for the vast majority of my life. Just being in my room, playing games, nothing wrong with that by the way. Have a balance. Even if it's a skewed balance, have some sort of balance. And just, again, do what makes you happy. I know charity work might not be for everyone, but it was for me. Taking opportunities was for me. Volunteering was for me. So I still do it, and I still try my best to get more involved, take up more leadership opportunities, and yeah, alhamdulillah, it's been going well.
Alhamdulillah, I think that's great to hear. I also feel like when you give that responsibility of yourself, trying to give back, it kind of forces you to be stronger, right?
Yeah.
Because like, inherently, I feel like the kinder you aspire to be, the stronger as a person you have to be as well. Let's say someone aspires to, build a mosque, for example. You need money for that.
Exactly.
You need planning, you need dedication. So all these responsibilities kind of grow, and it helps to grow and enrich your character the more you do. That's why a lot of people, when they have children, they start to change, they start to switch up, they start to grow as individuals, which is probably why in Islam it's probably sunnah to get married early as well, right? Because that level of responsibility probably, or in theory at least, is meant to enrich you. Of course it's hard, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hardship. But it
Very
also says in the
hardship comes
Quran.
easy though.
Precisely. Said it before I could, man. I'm not Barak. So yeah. And I also feel like when you want to give back here, more good also comes to you. This sounds very esoteric and spiritual, but it says, I think there's a hadith which says that, charity never decreases well.
Yeah.
And it's because when you start giving back here, it inspires other people to give back, and more can come to you as a result. If everyone was stingy with everything in life, nothing would ever get done. That's why I don't understand why people can gatekeep opportunities from other people and share. I low-key would like my friends to be doing better than I could, because it means that I'm always going to have something to learn from them as we keep on taking turns, competing with each other, helping each other grow.
Yeah, but healthy competition.
Yes, not unhealthy competition.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where the most growth is made, because you can support each other, right? But if you're, like you said, keeping someone down to always remain on top, you're never learning anything from them, and that person might end up resenting you because they can see how you're stunting their growth as well. So I feel like that goodwill and kindness is something that everyone should embody as well.
Yeah. In terms of charity, it doesn't have to be raise £1 million. I mean, in Islam, smiling is charity. Smiling is sunnah for a reason. And a quote from Imam Ali was, smile even if your heart is dripping blood. So just smile regardless of the hardship and ease. Regardless of the hardship, because ease will follow. And again, every little helps. For someone, a single smile can change a day. a single hi, hello, how are you? Like staying in touch with your friends. For me, that's something I regret. I didn't do as much as I could have. But whenever I do see my secondary friends and my friend group, it's as if nothing has changed. We just go around, it's just the same banter, it's the same dynamics, everything's the same. But yeah, it's just about taking initiative. As I said, I keep on bringing initiative up in this, but it's about just doing, not just letting everything go by. Because you're the main character in your own world, so start acting like one.
I hear that, bro. Speaking of one of your more famous charity endeavors, is that you played like an integral role in like organizing Light Upon Light, right? Which is like a very popular Muslim conference where like a lot of speakers come through, like Akhi Ayman.
Mufti Nank.
I think Umar Suleiman was
Yeah,
the last
yeah,
one I was into it. So how did you get involved in that? And what was your role in particular as a volunteer?
So the first time I engaged with Light Upon Light was just as an attendee. I think this was 2021. I was just an attendee. Actually, no, 2022. Yeah, I loved it. The vibes were great. I know it had a lot of criticism, but go beyond the negative social media spout or whatever. It was a great event. For reverts especially, it was amazing. I know I saw a lot of reverts there. A lot of people who were interested in Islam, not even Muslims. But the year after, I just volunteered. I was already volunteering with Human Appeal, which is a charity that's partnered with, I think, Iman Channel to deliver Light Upon Light. And as a Human Appeal volunteer, I was on the rota for organising logistics in the main room, just organising where people can go, etc. And I think that was a summer conference. And then the next conference I did was this year, Ramadan. I was a team leader for, just the Laylatul Qadr nights in Light Upon Light. And my role was more so logistics again, but also just being a team leader. I had a team of like 10-ish people. And again, we have 15 to 20,000 people coming in. So basically a quarter of the hall was my area. I had to organize people coming in, sitting down, distribution of food. And again, just spreading barakah, which is a big thing in Islam, but also a big thing for personal fulfillment. Just helping out people. Like, I was giving food for like half an hour before I ate myself. And everyone else sat down, and that's okay. But I just saw like people being kind. It was like, oh, are you sure have you ate? Have you ate yet? A lot of people who I was giving food out to, it's like participants, people sitting down. Have you ate? It was just so great. And after that, a big thing was also collecting donations. And I think I collected approximately £10,000 worth of donations for orphans in Gaza, which is again just so personally like enriching because you're gonna get part of that reward. And that's a lot of reward and like good deeds. Just like literally picking out a piece of paper, making sure everything was signed correctly so that money can go where it needs to go. But yeah, I mean, I saw the link, I was like, oh, apply to be a team leader. I applied, sent in why I should be a team leader, what makes me good, what experience I had. And yeah, I got chosen, and that's just how it is.
MashaAllah, that's really great to hear. Now when it comes to like, making sure that you can maximize all of these experiences you've had, you are like an avid user of LinkedIn, bro. I saw you on LinkedIn before I met you, which is crazy. So like, why do you use LinkedIn and why do you think other people should also use LinkedIn?
Oh, this guy's funny. We met at going to the Keys Explore, which is like an essay competition. He comes up to me. I'm just standing like an emo, just like Ezra, just like standing in the corner. I'm not a networking warrior. I don't go to events and start.
2,000 connections, yeah?
That's okay. Don't chase a track. For those who just start spanning connections with random people, please stop doing that. Like, I think I've connected to 50 people myself. Everyone else have connected to me. I think I'm just one of the spam people. But he came up to me in that event and was like, yo, Taha Tariq, yeah? I was like, is that J5, yeah? And then we just ate off. That's how I met this guy. So the power of networking, the power of having a presence is amazing, but also be smart about it. LinkedIn is amazing. I definitely advise everyone to get it. It's also just a personal thing because my memory is awful. So if I just list out my experiences, then when I'm making a CV, for example, or updating something to tailor it for a certain role, I can go to my experience and be like, oh, I've done that. But it's also just, again, asking for help. When applying to programs, when applying to colleges, when finding out more about a university, you want to speak to someone who's less about, I guess, selling it to you, like an admissions officer, like someone who's a staff at that place, but more so someone who's gone through it, like a current student, like someone who's graduated, And that's so useful and so powerful because it really does, I guess, give you an authentic insight to an institution or a program or something you're interested in applying to. So LinkedIn is great, but also don't be a LinkedIn warrior. The amount of times I see hello network and it's like, I've never said that, I will never as well. But the amount of times I've seen people writing huge long posts about maybe a lecture they saw on YouTube, like it's never that serious. Like networking is great, getting yourself out there is great, but also be smart about it. I guess everyone has their own style, but I personally wouldn't write a whole 2,000 word post over a 1 day insight day. Maybe put in experiences, show what you learned from it, few bullet points. But again, it's never that serious. So I think a lot of people who do that make LinkedIn a lot more daunting because it shouldn't have to be that daunting. Like you don't have to write posts every week. I think I do mine like every 4 months, and I still, still get like hundreds of views every day. Like, be smart about how you're doing it. You don't have to be some social media expert because trust me, I'm not. But yeah, it's good for getting yourself out there. But again, it's just also as a personal, I guess, display of growth because me in year 11, 0 experiences. Me at the start of year 12, 0 experiences. Me now, 50 plus. I don't know how many. I used to update it, but like, alhamdulillah. Yeah, it doesn't have to be 50 by the way. I'm just being extra. But give me 1, give me 2, give me 0. But get a LinkedIn because trust me, in the long term, it will help. Start building it, get a proper picture, put a bio, connect to other people because even if you don't connect, others will connect with you. And that's powerful just in itself, having people to turn to. Especially people coming from low-income backgrounds, from disadvantaged BAME communities. A lot of us don't have people in, I guess, the careers we want to get to. Like, I wouldn't know someone, let's say if I'm trying to become a diplomat, which is one of my potential careers, I wouldn't know someone in my family who's a diplomat. So, but I could go on LinkedIn, I could connect, and chances are, even after connecting with like 100 people, 1 might reply. That's all you need. 1 person who's willing to help, 1 person who's willing to talk and answer your questions, and that's just so powerful in itself. But yeah, get LinkedIn.
100%, man. Now, speaking of your vast range of experiences, what experiences helped you most then when applying to Dartmouth? Of course, you wouldn't know, but what experiences do you feel like prepared you and helped you get that scholarship, bro? Because I know a lot of people in the comments are going to be wanting to know about how you secured that bag, bro.
I know a lot of people ask, what are your ECs, what are your honours, what are your essay about? That's one thing I advise against. And the main thing is because think of yourself as an admissions officer and you're trying to get a diverse array of students. If you start listing what you wrote down, then what if 10 people have the same? You get what I mean? Like, admissions officers want something unique to you. They want your own, I guess, spike. My spike was somewhat education inequality. I did a lot about that. I did a research report about T-levels. Again, very education focused.
Wasn't that 10,000 words?
10,000 words, and I presented it at Imperial.
Damn, bro, and you're not an academic warrior. Stop lying. Stop lying.
I'm not.
Bro, how many? Okay, let's keep it. Brampton, yes, that's cool.
We're in the age of AI. We're in the age of AI. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. No, I did put in effort, but as in, that was, again, not academic. That was more research. It wasn't like memorizing chunks of content and pasting it on an exam, which is what A-levels are. Like, I'm a hater for A-levels. Hater for GCSEs as well. Standardized tests.
You got 1 9 and 1 8, but...
Okay. actually, I got 6 9s because I did 2 BTECs. Yeah. Oh, brothers are doing 15 GCSEs. Brothers are doing 15 GCSEs. I did 9 because my school didn't let me do more. But still, academia is great, but don't let it define you. Connor, what was the question?
No, my question was, what experience helped you move for Dartmouth?
Again, hard to pinpoint. Everyone has their own spike. For me,
what were your favourite? What were your favourite experiences?
My entrepreneurial ventures.
This guy knows how to make fun as well.
It's embarrassing, but Discord.
Bro, there's nothing embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, bro. I'm not a Discordian. But year 7, I made a Discord server based on Roblox. It was big.
Yeah, but how many members are we talking?
And then, back then, 5, 10, now, thousands.
Exactly, mashallah, bro.
So, during lockdown, it peaked. We had like over 10,000 across 2 servers. And yeah, from that, I met this guy, an entrepreneur in America, and then I've been a marketing manager for him, executive marketer for him, and his like side projects. Like he's sick. Yeah, shout out to Henry, man, my goal. But yeah, I led a team of like 20 people across the UK. A lot of people actually from Sutton Trust. A lot of people from Brampton. A lot of people from Clack. I had basically like sub teams. There's a Brampton team. There's a Clack team. There's a Sutton Trust team. And then I just put them on, and I paid them. Also, I was very generous. I paid them like triple minimum wage, like £15 an hour. And then we released like 100 blogs a month approx. And yeah, that was my biggest entrepreneurial venture. I mean, the site got millions and millions more traffic in terms of users. But yeah, it was pretty incredible. But yeah, don't try copy others, because how are you going to try to replicate something like that? It's just not feasible. So it's more so about finding what you're good at and just sticking to that. But also exploring. Don't have everything similar. Like one of my things was a classics program at Cambridge. Another thing was volunteering at Human Appeal and Human Aid and climbing a mountain. It was just so varied and random. And also I think essays, don't underestimate them. Mine I think was quite powerful. That's subjective obviously, but my one was about being a nomad as an identity. Nomad meaning like I don't align myself to a certain place, but rather I travel, I shift with
Last
my environment.
airbender type beat.
Honestly, but it's also just like I love traveling, but it's more deeper than that. It's like a sort of identity. If someone asks like one word to describe yourself, I'd say nomad. I don't belong to one place, but I don't find that as a weakness. I find it as a strength. Being adaptable, being resilient, being reserved. But yeah, don't underestimate anything. But also, if you need help, honestly, I'm willing to help however I can. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. But yeah,
where can we find you, Taha?
LinkedIn, just Taha Tariq. Insta, Ghost Rider X. Yeah, just however.
That's fun. Is there any final thoughts you'd like to leave the audience with?
At times you might ask for a drop in the ocean, but if you wait a bit, you'll get the whole ocean in itself. So be patient. Patience is genuinely a virtue, and if you feel like there's no way out, if you feel like your future is so bleak, there's a like immovable obstacle, you can't move past the wall, then trust me, you will. Like when I was in Pakistan, I genuinely thought that was my future. I'm gonna be some random kid in a village running around like shirtless. I don't know, no education. I don't know, start being a street vendor. I genuinely thought that though. And at that age, I was deep in it. Like I'm like what, 10, 11? I was deep in it. But alhamdulillah, I got back to UK. It was still peak. I was getting bullied because I had sound like a freshie. Because my accent was really bad. Like not that it should matter, which obviously it shouldn't, but it is how it is. And then eventually it got better and better. Even now, still a lot of struggles, still a lot of difficulties, still a lot of, I guess, challenges to overcome. But that's just how life is. This dunya is temporary, the akhirah is eternal. So always have your eyes on the prize. Don't forget that sometimes the world can be an illusion. So don't get sucked into it. Don't drown in it. Rather just be free, but also be disciplined.
And that's a wrap. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you for having me, Jamal. Appreciate it.